everybody, it's Romania Black and Bromania.
Yo.
And we're on the penultimate episode of Arcane Season 2. It's episode 8. There's a lot that could happen in 2 episodes. There's a lot that can happen in 2 episodes of Arcane. I don't know how to feel about that because last episode was really good with Echo and Powder and figuring out the time flow, and Jayce was in hell, and it was really great, but it was very much I don't want to say it was a straightforward episode, but it just kind of felt like, okay, we know what's going on. But I was like, now it felt like we had to go through that to get back to the present, to bring everybody together is what it felt like. It felt like a very disconnect from episode 6. Here's what Echo and Jayce and Heimerdinger have been up to. Now let's get the gang together and figure out these last 2 episodes, what we're going to do. Who are we going to stop? What's going to happen? Viktor's had a hole blow through him, so what else is there left to do with the Hex Tech, supposedly? But anyway, I've got 2 comments I want to tell real quick before we start into this. One is from Sunray535 that says, from how I saw it, Heimerdinger's flaw so far has been about time. He's 307 years old, he seems to take time for granted. He tells people what not to do, but does not provide a clear suggestion on what to do. He tells Viktor and Jayce to improve on the Hex Tech and casually gives them a timeline of a decade on safety improvements, not taking into account Viktor's terminal illness. He seems to understand Viktor's plight more after Viktor had passed out back in Season 1. His line, "Those who shine the brightest often burn the fastest," seems to be an indicator that Heimerdinger is starting to understand and sympathize with people. Although somebody shared in the Discord a meme, and it was Jayce as the Onceler and Heimerdinger as the Lorax, which I thought was hilarious. I was like, that's great, actually. Says someone hypothesized that Isha is named by Jinx since Isha is a mute. And we know Felicia is Vi's and Jinx's mom, and Isha literally fell on Jinx. So a play on fell plus Isha, which would make sense. That kind of makes sense. That's cool. And then Sunray says, I have a headcanon on why Mel seems to be good at solving the runes. And it's because she's had to deal with Jayce yammer on about the Hex Tech runes. Like a little kid excited to show someone their passion, Jayce has Mel look at the Hex Core while it was in Rubik's Cube stage as he jabbers on happily. Which is really funny. I like that. I like that headcanon.
They had interesting pillow talk.
The pillow talk was great. And then someone pointed out that the Hex Tech hammer has heart cutouts. And I thought that was funny. It gives Jayce a magical girl vibe. Which, if you've watched any Magical Girl series, they're full of angst and trauma and death. Looking at you, Puella Magi Madoka Magica. As that creature just stares at us for eternity. But yeah, that was a really good comment. So yeah, Jayce being a magical girl, to me, checks out from what we've seen so far. And then Alexander Q says, Jinx, in my opinion, is a character that always wanted someone to love her unconditionally. She had that with Vi as a little girl, and then Vi had a breakdown after their world broke down and destroyed Powder's sense of safety. Then she had Silco, who weaponized it and twisted it to his own gain, and ended up losing it in a second of self-doubt and highly emotionality and trauma. And now, as of episode 6, for the first time, she's gained it in the innocence of a little girl. But also for the first time, she has to provide it, and that makes her see the world in a different lens and grow as a person in some significant ways that she was lacking. In a way, I think it gave her a sense of self-assuredness that she was lacking and just self in general that she sorely needed to be able to provide, but now, she's lost it great. So, yeah, all of these comments were really, really good. So, yeah, I don't disagree with any of those. Any thoughts before we start this episode, bro?
No.
I have no clue what we're doing. I have no clue what we're doing. I have no clue where we're going, how this is going to happen, how everything is going to come together. These next 2 episodes are giant question marks, and we'll just have to see how that goes. So thank you all for watching with us and for all the support. We really appreciate it. But we are going to start episode 8 of season 2 of Arcane. 8's my lucky number. Don't let me down. We're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. And let's go. So, wow. Remember how I watched Berserk this year? really. I'm going to do some mild Berserk spoilers. I'll bring that up in here. One thing real quick. Last week, the vinyl that started out the episode was one of Echo and Jinx instead of Vi and Jinx. There was a little difference there, and I just now noticed it. So that was really fun. I have lots of questions, and you have knowledge of... You were very quiet during Viktor's seeming transformation into whatever he's about to be. You're so quiet! My brother knows things! He knows things! And we have to wait till next week to get all of the things. Okay, alright, so I'm going to ask a yes or no question, and feel free to answer this. In League of Legends, is Viktor a villain? Somewhat. Okay. Somewhat. Yeah. I have a feeling next week I'm going to have lots of questions.
I'll explain more about his character in the next episode.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to have tons of, and we're going to look at the character bios next week, so I feel like that's going to help out a lot because I mean, oh my gosh. Everybody in the Discord was like, well, how you doing with Jayce and Viktor's breakup after episode 6? And I was like, well, I kind of felt like they sort of broke up at the beginning of the season when Viktor emerged from his cocoon as with the Hex Tech combined with him. Do you think that it's kind of complicated, but it's like, on what level do you think the real Viktor is still in there? Is this still the real Viktor? Is it Hex Tech Viktor? Has it always been this Viktor and it's just he finally emerged, or did the Hex Tech merging with him change him, or... It's
a bit of both. It's still Viktor's mind. He still remembers, like, Jayce, their partnership, all that. But it's like the rush of power. Power corrupts. He's been given the Arcane in him, and he was able to walk for a while without the cane. And now he's starting to feel that power, like he could heal people. He could fix things.
Yeah, so it's kind of I didn't know if it was a combination of him getting the power and that corrupting him because he's always been kind of powerless to a degree and it just kind of overtook him and he's taking it too far, or if Viktor did die when he died in that council room like Jay said, and this is just, brief Berserk spoilers, and I will get rid of the Berserk spoilers logo up here when it's edited, but it reminds me of Griffith a little bit. Because Griffith, when he dies, he's in a state kind of like Viktor where he can't move. He's really powerless. And Jayce is kind of like Guts. And Mel is kind of like Casca. In a sense, in a way, but not really. But in a sense of the love triangle. That's not really a love triangle. But anyway.
Let's hope it doesn't go further.
I know. That's my one thing. I don't want it to go the full-blown Berserk route. But I feel like the creators of the show were somewhat influenced by Berserk because... I feel like Viktor's kind of like Griffith, where he finally got this power, and the choice was, you could take Hex Tech and do the final glorious evolution, or you could go back to your partnership with Jayce and forsake all of that, and he chose the final glorious evolution more than his partnership with Jayce. Would you be on the same level with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I feel like Viktor is the less problematic Griffith at this stage of the game. And yeah, let's hope that it does not. I don't think it will go the route that Berserk does into Berserk spoilers because Mel's a witch! She's a mage! Okay, I wanted to talk about that briefly. You know about the Black Rose. I don't know what all we will find out about the Black Rose within the next episode. I feel like the next episode is mainly going to be focused on the fighting.
I think they're done with the Black Rose now.
I feel like that is one thing. If I'm going to criticize this season of anything, because I've loved it so much, the one plot line I will criticize it for is Mel's.
Well,
but if they do a Noxian side story, are they saving stuff for that?
The Black Rose is an organization in Noxus.
See, that's why I figured...
There's a reason why her mother couldn't go, to her superiors and be like, hey, I need more troops to fight this group.
Okay.
Because Black Rose is part of that group.
Okay. See, I was going to ask about that in the episode, because my insight based on this episode, the way that Ambessa talks about it, and the way that this queen, ruler, head honcho CEO of the Black Rose is, my guess was that the Black Rose is a group in Noxus that is an organization of mages. They're all kind of similar. And they're kind of like, I want to say they're not a mob, but I feel like they have mob ties where Ambessa couldn't go against them because they're intricately tied in Noxus. And it sounded like her son got in too deep with them and ended up dying because of it. And now Mel is, Ambessa got with a mage, had Mel, or at least that's what it seems. Got with a mage, had Mel, and then is like, but, and what do we do? That's what I got from the episode. And the Black Rose is kind of like, you're one of us. You should join our mage corporation now and go against your mom. And Mel's kind of torn between that. Part of me wishes there was a little bit more development with Mel, but I get why they didn't focus on her because they just needed her to do something in this season, and this was what she was going to do.
They ended it with the rocket heading right for Mel.
Right, in the last season.
Either Jayce pulls like the greatest heroic move and like, get down, Mrs. President.
Yeah.
It blows right past her.
Right.
Or she has some bullshit. Deus Ex Machina magic.
You describing Mel becoming a maze as a bullshit Deus Ex Machina is great.
Well, what else do you expect?
I mean, you're not wrong. I like Mel's character, and I like what Mel stands for, and she gives Jayce a lot more credit than he sometimes deserves. She was a lot nicer to him than I would have been if he just said that. And I love that in the end he's like, I'm an asshole. She's got not Guy Fieri, but she's the chef, the Gordon Ramsay, where she has the 2 pieces of bread with Jayce, and she's like, what are you? And he's like, an idiot sandwich. I want someone to draw that now of Mel being like, what are you? He's like, an idiot sandwich. That's what I need for Jayce. But yeah, I think the only plot line in this whole series that I felt was kind of like, oh yeah, was Mel becoming a mage. I'm like, she's become a mage. That's so badass and cool.
Yeah.
But they just kind of like,
Some mages have their specific powers.
Okay.
Like their specific skill sets.
Okay.
As they said to her, hers is emotion, seeing past illusions. She's not very good offensively. She's more support. She's not turning a city into rubble anytime soon.
No, but she's there to defend. So her defending Jayce against the Viktor Hex hive mind soldier. What do we even call them? Like hive mind soldiers, I guess. The Hex soldiers. I'm sure they have a name in the game, but
no, we've never seen those before.
Oh, so they're new to the series. Okay.
Yeah.
But the Hex soldiers, if anything, I feel like, it's good that she's there to be... She's basically the support character in the group that's doing that. I mean, I love her design. It's bitchin'. I love it. I wish that she'd gotten a little bit more development. It felt like the Black Rose, for all that we've built it up to be, was just kind of at the last minute like, here, and maybe we'll develop it in a spinoff and go from there.
I want to say who I think that is.
Oh, that looks like a Kingdom Hearts character?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I'm not sure if it's who I think it is.
Okay. It reminded me of simultaneously a Kingdom Hearts Heartless and also Emu from One Piece. With the all black that you can't really see them. I mean, super intimidating. I just felt like definitely the Mel scenes this episode felt like, here is all the exposition we need to chuck out at you and explain whatever we can. Oh, the Arcane's waking up. Viktor's about to unleash a giant mass. But look, Viktor's about to unleash this army. That mage at the top of the tower is the one that sent Jayce back. It's Viktor. It's going to be a full circle moment where Viktor caused his own destiny. I'm calling it now. Viktor created the whole cycle for himself. And I don't know how that's going to work, but maybe. So yeah, so Mel's an empath. And I do like the idea that they established that mages, they basically said you could get cut down very easily. Just because you have this magic doesn't make you impervious to being, like... And she took it so handedly, like, oh, I'm a mage. It's like her Hogwarts owl came in and gave her, like, the, boop, you're a wizard, Mel. But, like you said, mages are not... They're not so uncommon outside of Piltover. You see them more often.
Not a whole lot of them, but you know of them.
But you know of them. So her becoming a mage, she's like, okay, this is something I guess I understand why this would be happening.
If the timeline's correct, the current leader of Noxus is a mage.
Oh, okay. that would help establish why Mel's like, oh, I'm a mage too. Why? Like, because she's used to seeing it through their ruler and everything. Okay. Yeah, I do like the line that she said about mages. I don't know what the significance of the jewelry that she handed her was.
Some mages are like attached to their
accessories.
It kind of helps like become like a focus.
Oh, okay. To kind of like a place to target your energy.
Like a staff or a wand.
So it's a necklace instead of a staff. How accessorizing. Yeah. Look at these mages accessorizing. I do like the phrase, the world is a perilous place for a solitary mage. Like, you're good, but you're just one. And if you're targeted, then you can't defend yourself from everybody.
You send all the spells you want in front of you towards an army. That ain't doing shit to the assassin behind you with the dagger to your back.
Exactly. So I do like that. I do appreciate that Mel is not impervious to all pain. Also, I went back when I was editing, and episode 7, the little case of masks at the beginning, there is a mask that looks very similar to the mask that forms around Viktor's face at the end of the episode. When you saw this visual of the mask, did you know what was coming?
I've known what was coming with Viktor since they introduced him as his name.
Since you heard his name in season 1?
Yes.
Dang.
This has been a slow progression to what he is in the game.
Oh my god, insane. Viktor, I guess it just comes out of nowhere. It doesn't come out of nowhere. Let me rephrase that. It's just Viktor was so unassuming, and you're just like, oh, he's just a humble scientist working with Jayce, and they're just doing their thing, and Jayce's got a heart of gold, and so does Viktor, and then as it goes on, you realize, well, maybe Viktor doesn't have the same heart of gold that Jayce has. Maybe his ambitions are a little different than Jayce's. And it's like, oh no. Uh-oh. So when people are like, how are you doing with the breakup? I'm like, oh, they're gonna be fine. My ship's fine. Everything's great. Everything's coming up roses. And then this episode, I'm like, has Viktor been the villain? Has this whole series been Viktor's villain origin story this entire time? Oh no. My thing is, the only thing that I'm still stuck on is, would Viktor, prior to getting hooked up with the Arcane, be for the glorious evolution, or is that the Hex core or the Arcane influencing him? That's the part that
the energy, like, influencing him, like, showing him how great things are with this, and after having a shitty childhood, a shitty adult life with being handicapped and stuck as just an assistant to a guy overcautious on everything, to becoming the partner of a pretty boy who doesn't really take the partnership serious when it comes to...
Who ruins everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did feel like Viktor at his core, just like in Berserk, there is an influence over Griffith to an extent with the people I'm talking about. I feel like with Viktor, there is the Arcane, and that energy is influencing him a little bit. Like, it's still Viktor's decision. He's still making it, but it is like nudging him along, being like, but isn't this much better? Isn't this better than the world you've had before? Wouldn't this be a lot better for everybody? And he doesn't see what Jayce sees, and like, no, actually this kills everyone, so...
Well, the final nail was the whole Jayce shooting him.
Yeah. Yeah, Jayce shooting him, and then...
And that's why he decided, instead of letting Jayce come to me, I'm going to send this little robot double.
Yeah, to Jayce, and that didn't work out either, and then he's like, fine.
I'm going to send the new iPhone 18. Make a face call.
Yeah, and the face call went down. He's like, well, fine. If you won't join me in my glorious evolution, then I'll just do it without you. Fine. Be that way.
Singe, pull the lever.
The worst part about it is that, like, Vander/Warwick loses everything. Like, Vander basically dies. They just use his blood to... And I like the imagery of Vander dying and the blood just going to Viktor to reinvigorate him and combine him to be like this immortal being, essentially, probably. But it just shows Vander's memories and everything burning away. So I kind of, in a morbid way, I'm kind of okay with that, because that means that Vander's not a part of Viktor necessarily. Vander's just gone. Vander's just died. And it's not like he lives on through Viktor necessarily. It was just like a blood transfusion, essentially, at the end of the day. Damn, I think it speaks volumes that they don't show us Isha. They just don't show it. They're just like, no.
What were they going to show?
I know, but the series has been...
The ashes?
No, the series has been gruesome. They could have shown us, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if they'd shown us the death, but also this arcane pod that's just like this little bubble. It's like Glinda Goodwitch's bubble, except it literally looks like the egg that Griffith was in. It looks exactly like that. I was having Berserk flashbacks this entire episode. I was having Berserk flashbacks.
He's going to hatch into a beautiful butterfly.
Again! Another beautiful butterfly, but this time, an even bigger butterfly! Like, it looked like his muscles, like he was gaining muscle. Like, I'm like, if you dadify Viktor, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it. I can't. No, we've already done Jayce. We can't do any more. Ambessa was really, she was actually kind of tender in this episode, in a way. She was, like, really letting her guard down with Mel. And, like, you know, what was I supposed... I feel like everybody in this series makes mistakes, and they have to own up to those mistakes. And Ambessa's is, she did let her pride and her strive for legacy override her love of her family, and she kind of led Mel astray a little bit because she was afraid of what would happen with Mel, right? Now, the Black Rose say that she was just going to save Mel as a weapon and use her at the last moment, but I don't know if I fully agree with that, because I think she would have done that already. She would have been pushing Mel to learn about her powers if she was going to use it. But she didn't do that. She was trying to protect Mel in some regard from that. The hive mind is creepy. And the hive mind, now all turning into those robots is super creepy. They're just like corpses. The moment she was like, oh, we'll have an army that doesn't fear death, I'm like, that's not a good thing. That's drones. That's not a good thing.
It depends. No. I mean, you have in that world death that has a physical embodiment.
My thing is Singe gonna find out, is Viktor gonna turn his daughter into one of them robots? Is Viktor gonna turn, I know you, you can't say anything! I was like,
I want to, but okay. I'm not sure if they're gonna show anything in the last episode. We'll
wait for the last episode. My brother's sitting there like, his face is so...
And when we go over the profiles, I'll show.
Okay. My brother's face is so red right now. He's like, I can't say! My thing is, I won't be surprised. I don't know if they'll keep it like League of Legends or if they'll just simplify it for the sake of the episode. But I'm like, Singe, you just watched Viktor turn these corpses into identical, non-autonomous robots. I don't know what you think he's going to do to your daughter, but I'm pretty damn sure she's going to look like one of them damn autonomous robots. I could be wrong, but we'll see. We'll see what next episode, if it happens or not. My brother is like, your face is so, you were just like, no! I want to say. But yeah, this damn pod. I just feel like Viktor, I don't want to say Viktor's gone off the deep end, but...
He's gone off the deep end,
yeah. I want to give Viktor... My thing is, so what did Sky represent? I thought Sky was the Arcane influencing him.
I think you were right with one of your guesses. It's like a mental projection of what's keeping him sane, like the small bit of humanity he has in him.
Oh, and Sky
because she was pushing for him to help people.
Yep, and not necessarily like take them over or start a war.
They still had autonomy when he controlled them.
Oh, yeah.
They were still themselves. They were just more connected.
Yes. So it could be that Sky was the part of his consciousness that was keeping him tied to humanity.
Yeah.
And then and when they transfused Viktor's or Vander's blood there, it just knocked her out.
They got rid of her. She deleted.
Cool.
You made Skynet.
I'm glad that the one tie of his humanity is gone. That's a great sign. That's a great sign. Good on it. Oh no. He says what could have been. An anomaly. So he says an anomaly festers beneath the hex gates. What is he talking about there?
Remember how that area was growing?
Oh.
All the wild rune?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and remember where the center, the eye of the storm of that whole evil apocalypse world was?
Yeah, at the hex gate. All there. Yeah. So when he said complete the doctor's transformation, is he talking about for his daughter? Okay. So he thinks that them getting rid of the anomaly will help complete the transformation for his daughter.
Will help complete the transformation for Viktor. He'll be transcending death, and he'll be able to pass that to others.
Oh, okay. So this whole thing is to get Viktor to be this immortal being they can thus make others part of the hive mind and transcend death too. Correct? Because that's when she says, will you evolve others? And she's like, oh, you can evolve my soldiers. I'm like, you're sacrificing your soldiers. Okay.
Not a smart move to, make all your soldiers like a hive mind to a single being who most likely will see any act of betrayal from you as like the death warrant that he needs.
Yes, exactly. I also, Viktor being like, Jayce is just so strong. I don't think I'll be able to overcome Jayce. I was like, shut up.
No, he says the defense he'll raise against him, which he is, the army.
Yeah, the army there. So, and Bess is like, I'll take you to this anomaly. I like how his hair has become black there. It's not white anymore. It's not the same. Okay. And so then Skye looking at him being like, I would evolve all of those willing. And that's when she's like, oh, well, but there's a difference between those willing and doing it forcefully. Oh, no. I love Viktor. I didn't want him to become a villain. When he came out of the cocoon at the beginning of this season, I was like, oh, is he going to be a bad guy? And I was like, surely not.
When you have a scientist named Viktor, 85% of the time, he's going to be the cause of either the monster or become the monster.
Damn it, and he's both in this one. He's both.
He has a Transylvanian German accent.
It's Czech. It's Czech, I believe, because Harry Lloyd was doing a Czech movie, I've been told. Well, sometimes shows like this subvert expectations.
Only this time, he is Frankenstein's monster.
Oh my god. He's Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster. Oh my gosh, that one. Okay, well, there's the one shot of Isha.
Yeah, right before she gets evaporated into ash.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I mean, we've seen what one of those does to a person.
Yeah. I'm glad that he came back. Joris, I'm glad Loris came back. Good for him. I'm glad he came full circle with Vi, and Vi went down to get Jinx. Man, I could not take Jinx doing the nail thing. That was like, oh, that's so gross. People picking at their nails. Nope.
And there's Maddie.
There's Maddie, the Scottish trollop. Man, she got dropped like a sack of hot. She got dropped like an Irish, like a shepherd's pie. She got dropped like a sack of potatoes so fast.
She'll be back for their honeymoon.
You're in an open relationship. No. But man, she got just thrown aside there. I am glad. I will give Kate benefit of the doubt. I will give Kate this. She was very open and honest to Vi about having a relationship while they were broke up. And Vi's like, I don't care. It's like, okay, well.
She grew up in, like,
Some people still have standards, bro. Some people still have standards.
She grew up in magical ghetto.
Some people still have standards. I'm happy that they talked. I'm happy they got that out of their system.
Oh, you were hoping she'd yell at her for that.
I wanted them to communicate. I didn't know if she would yell at her or not, but what I didn't want Kate to do was to not tell her about Maddie and just act like everything was all back to normal. I wanted them to communicate, and they did. So now we're all good. Everything wrapped up. That was a very satisfying conclusion of their breakup and getting back together. So now all Jayce and Viktor have to do is just talk it out.
Yes, because being with a little Scottish girl is totally the same as, hey, I'm going to take away everyone's free will and turn them into emotionless machines because I don't like the way humanity is.
Okay, look. I think that there are some similarities there. No! Oh. But are we beyond talking at this point with Jayce and Viktor? Probably, but damn it. I was really rooting for them, but at this point I'm like, no, they're gonna try to kill each other, and it's the tragic tragedy of two partners in science now pitted against each other. It's Helsing and Frankenstein. It's just, damn it. I have so many questions I want to ask about Jayce and Viktor, but I know I need to watch next week before I ask about them in League of Legends, because you've been like this. You've been smiling like a damn Cheshire cat. Every time I talk about Jayce and Viktor, you've been just smiling away, knowing your secrets. And it's like, I do love Jinx's Rapunzel look where her hair's all completely down. Girl, that hair, how do you maintain it? What do you think Jinx is going to do? We don't know where Echo is. Do you think that this Jinx will meet up with Echo and Echo will explain. The moment she was like, there's no good version of me, I'm like, but we just watched an episode where there was a good version of you, and I know it's because Vi was gone, but I still think that since we didn't see Echo at all this episode, or Heimerdinger, I think they're going to show up next week. I think she's going to give her story of how there's no good version of her, she's a jinx, blah, blah, and Echo's like, look, I went to another dimension just now, and saw a good version of you. I know it exists because it exists over there. And Echo's going to be the one to convince Jinx to join in the fray and do something. That's my prediction. Because Viktor knew how much potential Jinx had. And if anybody is going to potentially work with Jayce to stop Viktor, it's going to be Echo and it could be Jinx. And the three of them could work together. I feel. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But what do you think is going to happen with Jinx and Echo?
I don't know.
What is Heimerdinger going to do about all this?
I don't think Heimerdinger's with him. I mean, he jumped out of the machine.
Right, so he could be respawned somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. Also want to make note, Jayce's colors are green and red. He was wearing Zon colors with his white overcoat.
Over a jacket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had the Zon colors, which I was like, oh, that's so cool. I was like, this also felt kind of a, hey, I know we were together, but now we're just kind of friends moment, is what it felt like to me. Because Jayce was just kind of like, when Jayce got mad at Mel and yelled at her, I was like, dude.
Well, he was also having the magic from her was messing with him.
Yeah.
But then he saw the machine up in the rafter.
Yes. I do love the idea that the gear that's the table, they do that technique where they meld it. It's kind of like what Viktor's done with the soldiers and the people there, where it's melded them together to kind of like solder it together. I love that little technique there. But yeah, he's like, what? When he said, why didn't you protect everybody? She's like, oh, I'm sorry. My magic just activated. I couldn't help that. I felt kind of bad for Mel. I was like, dude.
Well, she's convinced him in the past to betray Heimerdinger.
That is true.
And push forward Hextech more.
Mm-hmm.
Which has ultimately created some of this, and he's seen a future where the Hextech gone wild.
Yeah, so I can definitely understand why he would be distrusting of her. It's just kind of sad because we, the audience, know that she really didn't have a part in that and that she's been dealing with her own thing this whole time. And it's like, well, she can't help it. She can't help what's happening to her. But yeah. And he said that he used him and Viktor. And she's like, yeah, you were two young inventors who were really promising. I didn't know that the Hextech we were creating was going to go wild and potentially cause all this problem. So, okay, question though. With his arm that is getting bad and his leg that is getting bad, what's going on with that? Is that something tied to League of Legends, or what do you think about that?
I think he's more sensitive to magic now. He's got the wild rune in him, and mages are able to use that magic.
So the magic that the rune inside of him is reacting to the magic around him from both the soldiers and Mel.
Yeah.
But like it's making his arm turn like his leg and turn purple. Like, what do you think? Is he infected? Is he dying?
I think the wild rune in him is starting to spread a little bit.
So what happens if the wild rune keeps spreading in him?
He could end up like that statue at the top of the hex gate.
And just like blow up from within.
Yeah, because it's starting on the same side though, I think.
Yeah. Also, this robot sauntering up here, just all smooth and stuff. And then Viktor's like, oh, hey, Jayce, let me do my little wave of dance here and get you. I love that it has the handprint on the robot. And Jayce's like, oh, no, hell no, I've seen that robot. It's terrifying. No. I'm so interested in what they end up doing. And Jayce is like, oh. Viktor's so smug in this conversation with Jayce. And Jayce is just so over it. But it kind of was Jayce's obsession too, wasn't it? But now it's... I love this scene in the chamber room of them battling. When he says I speak with all their voices, is he talking about everyone else there?
Yep.
Yeah, oh my god. So what does he want Jayce for?
He wants his partner.
So does he just want Jayce's mind to be part of the hive mind?
Yeah.
That's basically it? He just wants Jayce to join him in the hive mind and then they can work together? Because Jayce is his only enemy at this point that's getting everybody together against him? Well, and Mel. He doesn't like Mel either. Yeah,
it's Skynet. They're... Instead of trying to kill John Connor, they're first going to try to recruit him.
Mm-hmm. I thought he was going to kill Jayce, though. I thought he was going to have the robot, because the robot was going to, like, snap his neck, I thought, is what was going to happen.
Probably choke him out and then take him over.
Oh, so, like, choke him first? Because I'm like, why doesn't he can the robot do this, or does it have to be Viktor that does the connection?
Probably needs to be Viktor.
Probably. But, yeah,
otherwise he would have done that through his other...
Yeah. Oh, I love that shot of Jayce, like, grimacing of him. Oh my gosh. As partners. Oh my gosh. Ah! So, yeah, you're right. He probably was going to choke him out and then drag him away. But luckily, Mel saved him. Oh. I mean, good on Mel. Good on Mel for rescuing him. And at that point, Viktor realizes that Jayce isn't going to follow him of his own free will. That's the thing. He was like, oh yeah, anybody can evolve with me of their own free will, but he's realized Jayce is not going to do that. So in order to get Jayce to do that, he's going to have to force him. And that's why he makes the decision with Singe to let him take over, correct? Right? To let him, like, bring him back. Oh, that sucks! I wanted Jayce and Viktor to reconcile! Do you think my ship has sunk like the Titanic at this point?
It sunk a few episodes ago. The burning wood's already burnt out. We're done. We've run out of marshmallows and chocolate. We have a few graham crackers left, but that's it.
See, I thought because I think that the mage that told Jayce to go back was Viktor, unless Jayce is gonna get trolled and find out it was Viktor and they caused this entire thing, and then Jayce can be like, "What the fudge is this?" Unless that's the case, I was like, well, surely if Viktor's helping Jayce go back, then it's going to end happily. But this episode made it like, nope. Unless, Broseph, it is like all the rom-coms we've ever watched where the couple has an argument, they can't see eye to eye, everything just seems all doom and gloom, there's rain outside, they're just walking in the rain, and then it'll all come back around.
No.
I don't want to admit that Jayce and Viktor are dead. No, not my ship. I want to sit on, like, I'm Rose right now, clinging to the last piece of board, waiting for my little buoy to come rescue me and my ship.
After you kicked Jack off, even though it was proven that he could have survived by staying on the door.
Shh, don't. So, poor Jinx. I do love the conversation with Silco. That conversation was really good about the cycle of killing and her breaking free of that cycle. I didn't figure that Jinx wanted to stay around, though, because it's not that she doesn't trust Vi, but as long as she's around all those people there, they're not going to forgive her for what she did, and they're constantly going to be trying to hurt her. So I thought that Silco's words about walking away in that moment kind of rang true. They're like, well, you have the option, you can just walk away and stop the cycle. But then what's she going to do? I don't know. Like, what I think she'll end up working with Echo, but I don't know to what end that will be. She's got one of the cores, doesn't she?
It looked like it.
It looked like I couldn't, because then she like threw it back up. So part of me was like, was it real or does she have the core? If she has the core, then there's something they can do with it. But yeah, I mean, the episode calling killing as a cycle. And it's going to keep going unless they do something to walk away and break the wheel.
But she walks away, not foretelling Vi that she has permission to date Caitlin.
She got her blessing. You know, and I feel for Jinx because she thinks that if she's around, she's going to get in the way because she knows Caitlin likes Vi. And she's like, well, if I stay around, I'm just going to be in the way of that. And so she's like, I'll just leave since I'm the problem. And I'm like, damn it, Jinx. It's such a different... What happened in episode 8 of season 1? Because this is such a different vibe from that. Such a different vibe.
Was getting ready to... was talking with Jayce.
Mm-hmm.
Jayce refused to give him what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Bender's statue, has a heart-to-heart with the guy, explaining that now he realizes why he wouldn't give up Vi and her friends.
Yes.
Pretty much the same thing. It was all setting up
for the final episode, yeah. Except in the final episode, what if Jinx fired a rocket at Viktor? What if Jinx fired a rocket at Viktor? Fired fish bones at Viktor and said, here you go. It's just a repeat from last season. I mean, I guess it was Jayce saying, talking to somebody and saying no, which is kind of what happens in this episode, essentially. But I'm not going to lie. When they all gathered together, also the damn shimmer eyes, when they all gathered together and Jayce is talking about, like, the dangers of Viktor and what he's doing. Okay, but before we get to that, Mel has her moment where she says she's a passenger. She's like, I've always been, like, a standby person. I do like Jayce saying, he's like, I'm an ass and I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot sandwich. And I've been confused about a lot. But I know that you're not a passenger and that nobody can control you, which is super sweet and convenient because she'll probably have to save them all at some point in the next episode. But, aw, that is sweet. I love him saying that to her. Being like, you're your own person. You don't have to sit backseat to anybody, Mel. Good on Mel. She's so pretty. But, yeah. Okay. In the scene where he was getting them all together and doing the evaluation of, I like they all look up at the wreckage they caused and showing them the robot. I was waiting for it to go, like, full cheese and him being like, looks like we're some kind of League of Legends. I guess we'll just have to be a League of Legends. My brother is just staring at the ground, shaking his head, so disappointed in me. So disappointed in me. I guess we're some kind of Suicide Squad. Avengers, assemble!
Wait until they have a few series.
I know.
And they try to merge it together.
Wait till the cinematic universe gets big enough and we can just, plug in. So the stone that, like, leaked out, it looked like tears. What was that coming out of its head there? Was that just fluids from
the person it used to be?
Oh my god, that's gross. That's so gross. Ew, like metallic blood. Gross. Jayce is like, so this is my ex. This is what he's been up to. I know. And he just all dramatically posed there. So serenely. So, did Savika and them just step away like, we're not gonna fight?
Looks like they did until that one lady saw how the elderly are having to flee and they decided, no, we're gonna stay. We're gonna fight. We're gonna stay
and fight. I did like the idea that they've been, like, jettisoning people away from Piltover and Zon, like, just getting people out of there and using the hex gates to, like, fire them into another dimension temporarily or get them to another city where they're safe. Also, Fishman taking his hat off for the ladies. What manners?
Well, you have to remember, he knows that he can turn people into this.
Yeah.
So the less civilians...
The less army. Yeah, the less casualties and the less people Viktor has to turn into soldiers. Because that would be easy. Yeah, you could just go around and go bloop, 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 and, like, just hive mind everybody. But if they're not there, then... Okay. That does make me a little bit scared because I'm worried that... Oh, wow, the portal has a lot more Arcane on it. Like, it's gotten worse. Oh, no! I like Jayce just waiting there in the final boss room, being like, come get me, Viktor. Come at me, bro. Like, what the fudge? Terrifying. Okay, and then we have basically a sex scene between Vi and Caitlyn that I did not think would get as explicit as it did, but good for them. Good for them. Kudos. So what I thought for a second when we saw Ambessa heating up the anti-magic, I thought she was going to use those against Mel. Did you think that?
I think she she's being prepared in case the Black Rose does come for her again.
How many people do you think Viktor is going to hive mind in the next episode?
Everyone who gets his hands on.
I'm like, who do we think's going to die if we make predictions? Who do we think's going to die next episode?
Fishman, for one.
You think Fishman too? Oh my god, did you
he
think
hasn't
that was...
had a line. We don't know his name.
He did the hat thing like he was showing me his empathize with him. Oh my god, I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, they're building us up to feel something for that Fishman.
All the people that showed up, they've already, because they've come back, they've officially waved the dead flags of, hey, we're going to die for our loved ones.
I can't believe I was going to say the Fishman and you beat me to it. I was thinking the exact same thing. That Fishman's going to get hive mind, like, instantly. Do you think Ambessa will?
Oh, for sure. She's going to be right. He doesn't care about Noxus. Viktor wants to have everybody part of the hive mind.
I know. I'm wondering if Ambessa would make it out to have the Noxian spinoff, but if that creates conflict for Mel and Mel going to Noxus afterwards. I mean, the Black Rose has pretty much said they're going to kill Ambessa if she goes over there. Right? Yeah.
Because she's overstepping her bounds.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the only thing I could think of that might save Ambessa is the gauntlet, but then it's only on one arm. And if they grab the other arm, I don't know. I feel like Ambessa's on the chopping block. What about Maddie? What about our Scottish trollop?
Don't know.
Do you think any of our main characters would get hive mind? We pretty much... Jayce kind of alluded to the fact that Mel probably won't, because Mel's the mage. She'll be fine. Echo, Jinx, Vi, any of them?
I don't think so.
Don't think so?
No.
And Vander's gone, so that's not going to work. But, okay, so we've got this scene with them. I'm glad that Ambessa actually has a decent conversation with her. Like, for once, she actually opens up to her, which was nice. And apparently I mean, how did you interpret, Kino, the death with him? Because it seemed like...
On one hand, it sounded like they just asked her to do something. Mm-hmm. But we don't know what that thing is.
Yeah, I mean, she seems like she genuinely
Both sides are hiding things from Mel.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I kind of feel for Mel in this part of the storyline, because I feel like she's just kind of there.
The one who's going to get Mel's loyalty is the one who exposes the most truth.
Right. Whoever tells her the most truth and doesn't lie to her as much.
Right now, it's like that game where you have the flag in the sand and they're taking away lies a little bit at a time. Mm-hmm. Whoever takes the most without toppling over the flag wins. Mm-hmm.
I do feel bad for Mel because I feel like her storyline has the most questions still for me, and I don't know if they're going to wrap them all up next episode or leave it open for her to be like, I would watch a series with Mel as the main character going into Noxus and figuring out stuff, doing detective things. Take Jayce along. No, don't take Jayce along. He'll ruin everything.
No, he has to stay in Piltover.
He has to stay in Piltover, but I would follow Mel and find magey things. I think I would watch a whole series with Mel traveling around. I think that'd be fun. Let Jinx go with her. Jinx has got... Let Jinx go with Mel. That would be fun. Jinx is like, I don't want to stay here with any of them. And Vi's got Kate. Let Jinx take off with Mel, go to Noxus, and have all the chaotic, crazy fun. I want some adventure. Has Mel met Jinx?
No.
No, they haven't met, have they?
No.
No. Interesting. Okay. And I do like this little tidbit here that Ambessa doesn't like the mages because she thinks their magic is cheating. She's like, because the Noxus people value their strength, even if they use a weapon. And to me, it felt like she thought the mages were cheating by using magic that kind of cut through that brute force.
There are people like that, but most of Noxus is just like anybody can rise up. They don't really have a king. They
just have like you said the ruler was a mage.
They have a grand general.
Okay, and the grand general is a mage.
Yeah, and he's the one like leading them right now.
Okay.
But most Noxus, they do not like kings. They don't like the idea of somebody ruling over others.
Well, then why is she supporting Viktor, who's essentially wanting to do that?
She thinks she can control him.
Oh my god.
To her, he's not an actual mage.
Oh, but like, he just demonstrated mage-like abilities.
also giving the power to her soldiers.
Oh my god, but that's still like, he's essentially establishing he's basically, I'm like, girl, do you not see what he's trying to do?
It's like the Black Rose said, she's blinded.
Wow, by her legacy. Oh my gosh, I'm like, well, do you see what's in front of you happening?
So see, the Black Rose is giving her truths.
Damn, and now she's seeing it for herself. And then we went back in time. Poor Vander. And see, that moment where he calls her Ms. Young, I was like, is that really Viktor? Because would Viktor call her Ms. Young, or would he say Sky? Or is it partially influenced by the Arcane?
Yeah, it's partial.
I think it's influenced by the Arcane, because Viktor would not say Miss Young. He would have called her Sky. And the moment he said that, she's like, I felt like in that moment, she kind of realized what was going on, the remnants of her, and she's like, you're not going to miss me. Because you're not you anymore. Oh, that sucks. Oh, that sucks so much. Damn it. Oh my gosh. And like just the membranes. Oof. And the blood turning black. And all that being used to infuse old Viktor. Oh, damn. Nope. Not good, Cotton. Not good. Oof. I'm like, Doctor, do you realize what you've just done? Do you realize what's happening? A little bit concerned about all this. Did Vander become one of those robots? It seems like he would, but what?
Yeah, it looks like they may have turned Warwick into one.
Into one? Oh my god. Unless he becomes like a huge one. Like a different one.
That's even worse.
Yeah, that is very worse. That's much worse. I don't want to think about that.
Especially if he keeps his ability to heal.
Well, does he sacrifice the ability to heal if he becomes one of the robots? I
don't know.
Also, the fact that all of the Arcane, hive mind soldiers have the same kind of, infused hand things that, Mel has is not lost on me. That a lot of her markings are very similar to these. Oh my god, that's insane. Nope. Oh my gosh. Ew, and his, feet growing. Yeah, that's a ye old problem. Oh my gosh. Yeah, oh. Viktor's, wow, okay. Oh, and the head splitting open. Or that's the mask forming around it. Oh my god. Oh! No big deal. You've waited to see this version of Viktor since episode 1 of season 1, haven't you?
Ever since episode 4.
Ooh, why episode 4?
Don't get mad at me, everybody. Remember the hand thing he demonstrated while Jayce showed off the gauntlets?
Oh.
He basically becomes like Doc Ock.
Oh, it is kind of like Doc Ock. Yeah. Oh my god. He did. Oh. Wow, that was some foreshadowing from way back then. Damn.
It's like the first ability people put a point into when they play as him.
Oh.
It's really good for clearing minion waves.
Oh my gosh. There was something else I realized when I was editing episode 7. There was all of the drawings that were scattered out onto the desk. And there was one of the hex core and there was the infinity around it. And there were 2 bodies on there facing it, like 2 identical bodies. In season 1, when the hex core is getting invented, there was the same infinity thing. And there was Jayce and Viktor floating on either side of it. So it was basically foreshadowing all of that. Crazy. I was like, where have I seen that before? And that was it. That was from season 1. Oh my gosh. I can't believe next week is the final episode. I don't know what's going to happen with Jinx and Echo. Jayce is going to fight Viktor somehow. Mel's going to be involved with them, Bessa and them somehow. And Mel's gonna have to get out. Mel's at ground zero with Ambessa. So that's a problem. If Ambessa gets turned into the hive mind, it's gonna happen early next episode, I feel.
She's gotta sneak out of there and tell everybody what she saw.
Yep. And then we don't know about Singe and the daughter. You are banking on something happening with that daughter, and I'm super excited to see what that's going to be. I don't think it's going to be great, but so y'all, this was a great penultimate episode. I'm not happy that my Jayce and Viktor ship has sunk, but I guess if it means Viktor becoming the secret bad guy of the entire series, why not? So I'm doing surprisingly well with this knowledge. I feel like I would be torn apart, but I like a good villain origin story, so Viktor's villain origin story, I'm okay with this so far. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this episode and reaction. I look forward to your comments down below, and we'll see you all next week for the season finale of Arcane Season 2. Bye!